Welcome to my channel, to this very first video on the channel, The RPG Dane, which pretty much just states what I am. A Danish guy loving to play RPGs in almost any kinds. I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate, I know the Divinity games, playing The Witcher and other RPGs like those ones. I've never ever tried Pillars of Eternity, even though it's 10 years old, but I keep hearing a lot of good things about it, so I figured, hell, I should be trying this now. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I also hear that it should be pretty close to the Baldur's Gate series, at least Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, in regards of controls and the layout. So that should be pretty recognizable. On top of that, I also hear that the mechanics should be pretty much more straightforward for people knowing Dungeons & Dragons, either from the pen and paper version or from the Baldur's Gate games. So a complex system, but a little help should be found for those used to the D&D mechanics. Though this is not D&D, completely different. That aside, I think we should dive into this. I am, as mentioned, going in totally blind. I know nothing about this game other than everyone says it's fantastic, so let's try it out. After 10 years, I think it deserves that much, and I'm really looking forward to it. I have bought both games, both the Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, with all DLC included, as you can see it down here. The White March Part 1 and 2 also installed. I don't know how that works, if it's a continuation of the main plot after you complete it, or if it's woven into the overall plot of the game. I have no idea about it, but we will see how it unfolds as we go. So I think we should get started, but before I open up here, I would like to mention that I'm not going to do anything about the options. Normally I will be looking for a place where I can choose to see subtitles on whenever there's some kind of speak, narration or anything like that. I don't see this option. I don't know if that's because there are no cutscenes or whatever the reason, but I don't see anything about subtitles, so I'm gonna skip that completely and just dive into the game. So let's go. New game. And we start out by choosing a difficulty. I can see I am pretty well versed in this kind of game, so I'm obviously not going to play the story time or the easy difficulty, but I also have to keep in mind that this is a video stream, so nobody want to see me fail over and over again because I set it too high. That should probably point me towards the normal difficulty setting. Normally I would choose hard when just playing for myself. This one I probably would not until I have already completed it, then we could look at the Path of the Damned. But for a first playthrough I would normally go with the hard, but now that we're going to stream it and you don't want to see me fail and fail again and try the same thing over and over, so I think we're going with the normal. And then we have two other options here. Trial of Iron, I expect that to be some kind of Iron Man mode. Yes, only one save file. We're not going to do that again. That's also something I actually like doing in some RPGs, but I'm not going to do that when we're making videos, because that would just be silly. Then we have an expert mode. Sounds like a mode for experienced players. Yeah, it seems like it will keep out some tutorial hints, and that's... I would like all the tutorial hints because I don't know the game. So we'll set it at normal and we'll skip these two additional options. So let's accept and dive into this game. The athletic skill is used. Oh, okay.
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Well, at least I'm glad that I'm not the only reason for that we're stopping, so I'm not keeping everyone down. Our way is barred anyway, as it seems. Though it doesn't sound good that I'm falling ill. Wonder what that could be. But we'll probably get some answers soon. Let's get going. Done. So we open by the character creation. I know nothing about this, I have to say, though from the looks of it, seems pretty straightforward. Choosing the sex, the race, the class, attributes, culture, whatever that is, appearance, and voice. It looks pretty much like other RPGs I've been playing so far. I think I'm not going to make that long episodes for this stream. I'm thinking about an hour each or something about that. But this first episode here will probably mostly be about the character creation and perhaps just the opening scene or something like that. And then the real gameplay will start with episode 2. So if you don't want to spend your time looking at me making a character, then you can skip forward to episode 2 straight away. It should be available also at this point. So the first thing we have to choose is whether or not I'm going to be a male or a female. In most RPGs, there's no actual difference between those other than the cosmetic part, but there's some description, so perhaps it is. If I look for the male, the place of men in society varies from culture to culture. Cultures like Aedir and the Derwood place them at the forefront of military, politics, and heavy labor. That sounds like our world. Among the tribes of Nasitak, men perform many of the homesteading and organizational duties. In Irglanfath and Ixamidal, men and women have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule, and men can be found in a wide variety of stations. Variety is the word I'm looking for, of stations and professions. There are some words here that are blue. I think that's some kind of, yeah, exactly. So I can read more about the Direwood. I don't think we're going to dive that deep into it, or are we? Well, let's look. It's only some of them. It mentions here cultures like Aedir and the Direwood, but Aedir I cannot look up. Only Direwood. I don't know why. Direwood, a colonial nation founded by settlers from the Aedir Empire. Following a series of conflicts with Aedir, the territory became independent in 2072 AI, and is now ruled by a duck who is elected by 7 earls that oversees its earldoms. Okay, we also have Irglanfath here, where they are more fluent roles. The territory comprised of the forest southeast of the Bale River, populated indigenously by a group of loosely affiliated tribes, collectively known as Glanfathans, and governed by a council of its 6 most powerful tribes. Glanfath is home to the large number of ruined Engwithan sites, which Glanfathans hold sacred. The ruins have been at the center of a number of large-scale conflicts with Direwoodan colonists whose settlements often encroach on Glanfathan territory and who frequently seek to plunder the ruins for their relics. Yeah, I should mention I am Danish, and there might be some few English words. I don't know, like indigenously, as it is here. I don't know how to say that. Well, whatever. Okay, so pretty much it depends on the culture whether or not the male or the female have certain roles. We also have a description to the female race. I don't think, or sex. I don't think we're going to dive that much more into it. I'll just pick a male because that's what I am. It says here I'm level 1 fighter, but I think I can change that, or I hope, at the class. So let's proceed. To the race. I can see I can choose between 6 races. 3 of them pretty known to me as a D&D player. A human, a dwarf, and an elf. Humans seem to have bonuses in resolve and might. Dwarves even better in might and little in constitution and lack dexterity. And the elves probably have dexterity, yes, and perception. It's pretty close to the D&D definition of these 3 races. At least until they changed it with the 2024 edition, where they took out these definitions from the races. Well, then we have 3 others. Omora. They're blue, some water kind of creature. The mighty Omora are the largest of the Kith races and are commonly found in or near oceans. Yes. Though not truly aquatic, they have an affinity for water, and many of the civilizations, such as Rawatai, are based on naval dominance. They are known for their unparalleled strength. Yes, they have a might +2. So of course that's obvious they will be strong fighters, I believe. Then we have Orlan. Orlans are the smallest of the Kith races, though many cultures don't consider them to be civilized at all. Also notable for their large ears, two-toned skin, and hirsute bodies. Orlans are commonly found in Air Glanfath, the Ixamiddle Plains, and parts of the Dire Wood. They are known for their mental intensity and sharp senses. So they are very perceptive and also good at resolve, but they're not that mighty. So they're not actual fighters. What should I conclude here? That they are some kind of support class? Well, we'll find out later what they are good at. They are small. I see them like some kind of halflings, even though their faces look funny. And then we have godlike. Wow. What a face. The godlikes are children of the Kith civilized races who have been blessed with physical aspects associated with the gods, though some do not consider it a blessing. So they actually look like the gods. These aspects may take many forms and often come with mystical powers. Aberrant head shapes are typical, and godlike are unable to wear protective headgear, as it is near impossible to find anything that fits. Yeah, I believe. Because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder. So, if they can't reproduce, how do they appear, so to speak? It doesn't say. Well, they're good at dexterity and intellect. Well, should I consider them some kind of magicians, perhaps? Well, I don't know. So, without knowing anything about this game or what stats would be good, I would like not to put all my eggs in one basket, like this one. Only a +2 might, that's it. And I would also like not to choose a race that actually has a negative in one of the stats. This is only for my first playthrough because I don't know the game, so I don't want to take those risks. I want a character like the human that has 2 bonuses spread out, or the elf as well. Not the Orlan because it has a minus also, or the godlike. I don't feel like casting myself into this. It looks like a very unique kind of playthrough, perhaps for the second playthrough, the godlike. So it looks like I'm going to go with the human or the elf. And for the first play, I think I'm going to make the boring choice of a human. Let's go for that. I'm a human, good at resolve and might. Great. Oh, 3 different kind of humans. Meadowfolk. The most common humans in the Direwood, the Meadowfolk or Thurton, have lived in that area for almost 2,000 years. Meadowfolk traditionally live at the edge of elven forest, working the open plains, hence their name. Most humans in the Direwood are Thurton. Did I say that right? Thurton? Yeah. Okay, so this is some kind of bonus. Fighting spirit, once per encounter. 5 seconds after being reduced below 50% endurance, folk temporarily gain bonuses to accuracy and damage. Folk, but they're all 3 folk. Oh, they get the same bonus. Okay, so no matter what kind of these 3 human folk you are, you get the same bonus. So it's only flavor, I believe. I like this. It says here once per encounter. That sounds like you have abilities like in the D&D 4th version, I think it was, where you had 3 kinds of powers. I think it was at will powers you could use anytime, encounter powers you could use once per battle, and daily powers you could use once per long rest. I think that's how it was in the Dungeons & Dragons version 4 earlier this, 20 years ago or something like that. I didn't play that myself. I'm only a 5e player, so I'm not sure about it. But hey, it sounds like something like that. So it's pretty straightforward. Meadow folk, ocean folk, savannah folk. I think I can guess the point of the other two. So, and I'd like the meadow folk. Yes, I'll go with a human meadow folk. Oh, here comes the classes. So there's 11 to choose from. In Dungeons and Dragons there are 12, and I see a lot of the same here: barbarian, paladin, ranger, rogue, wizard, druid, fighter, and monk. So at least 8 of these 11 classes are identical to the ones in Dungeons and Dragons. Then we have 3 others: chanter, cipher, and priest. Priest sounds very much like a cleric, I'll have to say. That's what I would expect. Oh, it's a good thing it tells us here endurance, because I wouldn't get any idea about endurance. 36 plus 12 per level, is that good or not? So it's very nice they put it back here that it is actually very low for the priest. The priest seems to be low in everything. Deflection. So how well you avoid hits, I guess. Accuracy, how well you hit yourself. Health and endurance, it's pretty much health and endurance. That's not the same thing. Endurance represents a character's short-term survivability. Damage that is not absorbed by a character's damage reduction goes straight to their endurance and their health. Okay. Potions and healing magic, such as from a paladin, priest, or a druid, can restore endurance in combat. When a character's endurance reaches 0, he or she will be knocked out. A knocked out character can be brought back in combat through the use of a revive ability. Otherwise, characters will regain all of their endurance at the end of combat, assuming they're on the winning side. That's obvious, yeah. Okay, so health is like more: if you lose your health, you're dead. If you lose your endurance, you're just some kind of incapacitated for now. Is that how I should interpret this? And when I heal, I only heal my potions and healing. So when I do healing, I only heal my endurance and not my overall health. Well, that sounds complex. We'll look into it later. For now, I think I should just be focusing on which class I would like to play. And as I was about to talk about before, the priest seems to be low in all these things that seems to be combat related, which pretty much tells me, yes, this must be some kind of supporting character with some supporting skills that can buff up the teammates. So this is not a character supposed to charge in at first. I think I would like some kind of frontliner for this, for someone who can withstand some damage. That means that, I guess, could be a barbarian, a fighter, or perhaps a paladin, based on my knowledge from the D&D universe. I don't know what the chanter, it sounds very magic. He doesn't look like a magician though. In every culture across Eora, there are chanters. Many historians consider chanters to be the most ancient workers of magic, their hallowed phrases stirring the collective memory of wayward souls around them, compelling them to generate magical effects in a kind of reenactment. In some societies, chanters from organized groups of storytellers and researchers, but in most parts of the world, they're just a time-honored part of local folk traditions. Starting abilities, phrases, and chants. All chanters can continuously speak chants made up of magical phrases. Phrases produce passive effects. I don't know. I don't need to read what passive effects are. That I've played enough RPGs to know that passive effects are, whenever you have this ability, then it just takes care of itself, giving you some permanent boon or bonus of some kind, and help build a chanter's power until they can use an invocation. Invocations are powerful magical effects that chanters can create after they have spoken a required number of phrases through their chants. Okay, so they're some kind of singing or something, chanting, la la la, until something works. So they are magicians with an axe. Seems funny. Well, as I mentioned before, I think I would like someone that is high on endurance and high on health. Someone who can withstand something. Let's look at the cipher. I don't know what that one is either. A recent discovery in the Eastern Reach, ciphers were once called Brisholgwyn, mind hunters by the Glanfathans. Ciphers have the ability to directly contact and manipulate other person's soul and psyche using an ally's or an enemy's essence as the focus for their magic. So manipulation. Though most ciphers are still found in the Eastern Reach, practitioners of the techniques have spread throughout the known world. They are gaining acceptance over time, but are generally distrusted, especially by the uneducated. Yeah, well, I would distrust someone able to manipulate me as well. Starting ability, powers. Ciphers can directly target allies and enemies with powerful soul-focused effects. These powers cast focus, which ciphers build through the use of their soul whip. Okay, stealth, lore, and mechanics. Yeah, that's not the kind of character I'm looking for either. And I don't think I want to dive into the priest because it's obvious it's a cleric and it's a support class with no real combat abilities here. So I will probably look into the barbarian, the paladin, or the fighter. Let's see. He's not good at deflecting, so he's pretty much just standing shield, standing in front and sucking up every damage, keeping everyone else safe, I would guess. And then we have the paladin. He seems to be more in the middle of things, average all over, and with a high health. Yes. That sounds interesting. And what can a paladin do? Paladins are martial zealots devoted to a god, a ruler, or even a way of life. They can be found in any culture where a fanatical group of like-minded individuals have formed a warrior society dedicated to advancing their cause. Among those aligned to their worldview, paladins are viewed with respect and admiration, if a bit of fear. Many paladins hold leadership positions in armies and mercenary companies, but in the heat of battle, their fanaticism often overrules the chain of command and common sense. So they go rogue agents when certain situations arise in the middle of a battle or what? Well, they sound interesting. What starting ability? Faith and conviction. Paladins have an inherent bonus to all their defenses. There are 4 defenses in Pillars of Eternity. Deflection, I know that one. Fortitude, reflex, and will. Each defense is used to resist a different category of attacks through the attack roll. Deflection is used to resist most direct weapon attacks or attacks that are similar to weapons. Fortitude opposes physical attempts to overpower a character or attack their body internally via poison. Physical area effects like fireballs and lightning bolts are resisted by reflex. So, like a dexterity saving throw in Dungeons & Dragons, almost all mental attacks are opposed by will. That makes sense. Fortitude, reflex, and will are all based on pairs of attributes. Might and constitution define fortitude, dexterity and perception define reflex, and intellect and resolve define will. Base deflection is defined by the character's class and resolve. All characters gain flat bonuses to their defenses every level. Additionally, spells, abilities, afflictions, and items can all modify a character's defenses. Oh, I see. This is complex. It's actually so complex that I think I shouldn't worry too much about hitting the right ingredients right, or the right stats right from the beginning, because that would be impossible for me to figure out without having played. So I will just go by a gut feeling on this. Well, bonus to all defenses, that's where we came from. Over the course of the game, the value of this bonus may shift based on the reputations the paladin gains relative to the behavior that are preferred by his or her order. But I do like that they get a bonus to all defenses. But will they still be strong fighters then? Because I don't see anything here mentioning a damage output. Well, so far I prefer the paladin. Let's look at a straight up fighter. Fighters from the front line of disciplined armies across the Eastern Reach. Though they are most commonly found in cultures with an organized martial structure, fighters can also be encountered as wandering mercenaries, bodyguards, and other types of sellswords. The common element that unifies fighters is their heavy focus on endurance and melee defense. The starting ability is constant recovery. Fighters continually regenerate endurance at a modest rate during combat. That sounds extremely powerful for me. And they get a bonus to athletics, lore, and survival. Didn't the others just get 2? Oh, he got 2 to athletics. So that's why. Yeah, okay, so they get 3. They all get 3, he just spreads them out. Again, I like that, but perhaps here it would be better to be very strong at one thing, really. Athletics. Well, let's look at the fighter again. So he is average on endurance, high on health, and very high on accuracy and deflection. But how about his damage output then? It doesn't say here. What I like about him is that he's actually regenerating endurance as we go. The paladin does not do that. I would believe he gets the bonus to all defenses, and then I would expect him to be able to heal allies over the course of the game. I don't know, but that would be an expectation. So while the paladin probably can heal allies, the fighter can only heal himself. But I really like the prospect of a fighter. But no, I think we're going to... Oh, the barbarian too, I like that. Maybe I should just... I don't know his ability. Let's just see. Brutes, madmen, berserkers. Those city-dwelling people often use the term barbarian with a dose of disrespect. These rural warriors are respected by their communities for their ferocity and fearsome presence in the battlefield. Barbarians have a special, almost religious role in some cultures, but in many places... The undisciplined, fearless style of the barbarian is simply how warriors conduct themselves. The starting ability, Carnage. When the barbarians hit with melee attacks, they automatically make reduced damage attacks at all other enemies within a short distance of the target. So if we're up against a group of enemies, I don't just injure the one I hit, but everyone. They automatically make reduced damage attacks at all other enemies within a short distance of it. That sounds very powerful as well. And he has a very high endurance and health, average accuracy, and a low deflection, meaning that he will probably be hit a lot, but the point is that he's going to withstand it with his high endurance and health as I read these things. I actually think it could be pretty fun to be the barbarian, really. I've always loved a sword and shield character. That's why I really love sword and shield. I don't know why, but I'll go for the barbarian. Looks like in dual wielding or perhaps a two-handed weapon. We'll see how it goes. I think I'll go with the barbarian for this one. Well, that took a while to get into this, but let's proceed from the barbarian. Oops, what was that? I need to choose an ability here. I have one to choose between Frenzy and Barbaric Yell. Barbarian abilities emphasize fighting groups of enemies in melee by increasing damage output, weakening the group, or granting the barbarian bonuses when the situation looks grim. So I choose between these two. Frenzy sends the barbarian into a frenzied state, granting a might, constitution, and attack speed bonus, but causing a deflection penalty against incoming attacks. Well, deflection is already bad. While the barbarian's frenzy is active, his or her endurance and health are concealed. So the enemy can't see it, or... Well, I can use it once per encounter. It has an average speed, and the effect will be +4 to might, which I expect to be equivalent to strength and thereby damage. +4 to constitution, which I would expect to be hit points or something like that. An increased attack speed by 33% and -10 to deflection. Ouch. And health and endurance concealed for 12 seconds. Well, it sounds interesting. Barbaric Yell. Lets out a terrifying yell, frightening enemies in the area of effect. 2 per encounter. Speed is average. Area of effect 5 meters. Radius from the caster, which is himself. And the effect is that foes in this area are frightened for 12 seconds. Accuracy versus will. Okay, so for me to succeed, my accuracy has to beat my opponent's will. Yes. And the frightened condition does what? Resolve and dexterity are reduced by 2, and accuracy are reduced by 10, so they pretty much don't do any damage when frightened. Okay, so this keeps our own guys safe. This does a lot of extra damage to the enemy. Tough decisions right from the start. But I do like this one. I feel that like this one is the best one in against opponents. One huge, large, strong opponent, a boss opponent, while this one is good against groups of enemies. I think. I don't know. I'll go for the yell. Oh, here comes the attributes, and I just get 10 all over. I have 2 11s. That might be... Yes, that's the might and resolve. That's the ones I got a +1 from being a human, I think. So actually everyone just starts with 10 and everything, and then they are adjusted by the bonuses. And then I have 15 extra points to spread out. I can see something has a golden star, something has a silver star, and something has no stars. Probably, yeah, highly recommended for barbarians are the gold stars. The silver stars just recommended, and then the last ones don't matter or whatever. Again here, I don't know if it makes sense to dump things, but I can see that if I have a 10, then it actually gives me a bonus of 0 all over the plate. So if I dump something, will it? Yes, then I'll get a minus. That would be too risky for a first playthrough, I think. So I will keep everything at least 10. You might, if you know this game, sit there and think, why the hell is this barbarian gonna have 10 in perception? It does not matter, whatever. I'm gonna do it for now, simply because I don't know the game and I don't want to risk dumping a stat that ends up being important in just a case or two along the way. So I keep everyone at 10, then I will, of course, make my might and constitution. Might for damage output, I would expect. Yes, and constitution for my health and endurance. Those I will keep high, and then the dexterity. Is that important for me? It says that it is. Reflex is an action speed. An intellect, area of effect. Oh, so this increases the area of effect. Area of effect, well, and a bonus to will. Okay, I'll go for the suggestions here. So if they... Well, I can live with the 10 in resolve, I think. And then I will put the golden ones in top and the silver ones up here. Okay, now what? So put might and constitution 1 higher. And I have 1 left. What's most important, damage, or I want to be able to do some damage. I'll put my might up to 17. This means that I will now get a plus 21% damage and healing. Interesting. And plus 14 to Fortitude. Is that some kind of luck? Fortitude resists attack on the internal physical systems of the character, poison and disease. It's defined by the character's class, level, might, and constitution, but can also be influenced by other effects. Okay, everything seems to grab into each other here, so I'll just go with my gut feeling for this, and I think this is okay for the first playthrough. Let's go with this one. Culture. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, each culture seems to be getting a bonus to some. There's of course some kind of flavor to it. It looks like it also influences the equipment, actually, but also some flavor, and then it gives a bonus to one of the stats. Well, I made a 17 for my might and only 16 for my constitution. Those were the two highly recommended ones, so maybe I should go for the constitution to get that up on par with the mights. Do we have a constitution bonus somewhere? The Rawatai seems to be the only one. Okay, dominated by the Omawa nation of Rawatai, the Gulf itself is host to a number of nations, most of them Omawa, Orlean, and Dwarven. Though these countries are relatively young, they are some of the most advanced colonial settlements in the East. The Gulf is a land of riches and resources for those who can take them, though the entire coast is often pummeled by violent storms. These Omawa, was that not the huge blue creatures? The water ones? So they rule this world, or that part of the world, if I come from here? Well, I don't know what it means yet, so I'm just gonna be a Rawatai with a bonus +1 to Constitution. Background. Yeah, I get why they talk so much about it having a lot of similarities to Dungeons & Dragons, where you also get a background. And this also seems to add different skill bonuses. So I see where they align. I shall apologize for mentioning Dungeons & Dragons so much if you're not into that, but it's simply because that's my reference in this. So I will be comparing it to that a lot, only for me to get the best meaning out of it. Okay, so let's consider I am a violent barbarian coming from Rawatai, where it seems that I'm not some kind of lower class there, it seems, as they are led by Omawa, Orlean, and Dwarven people. So what could I be in that world as a barbarian? Slave would perhaps overdoing it. You've never known freedom. Shackles and chains have bound your existence, and someone has told you what to do your entire life. Well, that actually doesn't sound usable. Mercenary. Blade and battle is your way of life. You solve your problems by pulling out your weapon and applying force. That makes sense. It gives me athletics and lore, but I actually like the athletics and survival down here. What is survival? Is that survival allows characters to choose from a variety of long-term bonuses each time they camp. The first 6 ranks grant the following bonuses: damage reduction, received healing multiplier, bonus movement, accuracy bonus versus creature type, increased consumable duration, and bonus damage versus flanked enemies. After the 6th rank, the previously earned bonuses become more powerful in the same order they were received. Survival can also be used in conversations and scripted interactions that involve wilderness challenges or specialized information about nature. Wow, there's a lot to keep. I don't know about this survival thing. Well, there are some things here. Damage reduction would be pretty good, I think. And other things as well. Bonus damage versus flanked enemies. And I like the athletics one. You know what? I'm going to take the slave culture here. I was a slave. A slave from Rawatai, if that's... Yeah, that's the name of the nation. Let's go for that. Appearance. Oh, this is not something I normally spend so much time at. I really love when you have a randomize button for this. And then I normally just randomize until I see something that's pretty okay, and then I just change a little bit. It does not seem like I have a randomize option here. What I think I'll do is I will go with a portrait. Oh, 99 portraits. And then I will try to set these appearance stats over here in accordance with the portrait. Well, this one looks okay, though he looks a little bit too pretty to be a former slave barbarian. Wow, these are very exotic. That's not like how I picture myself. So he has pointy ears. That does not make sense for a human. These are elves, I think. Wow, there's a lot. These are dwarves. Maybe I'm actually just gonna stick with the one. Okay, these are female. Let's get past those. Oh, here comes the males again. Too much armor here for a barbarian. This looks more like a ranger. Well, this could be him, though. I'm gonna remember this one, 51. Yeah, this is the obvious one. I'm not gonna go with that one because it's just plain obvious. And then we are back. He also looks fine, but he looks too fine for a barbarian, I think. I'm going to go for this guy. So, let's see if I can make this character over here look like that one. The skin looks okay, maybe a bit too... Can I zoom in? Nope. Colors of the skin, can I tone it down a little so it gets a little lighter? That's not lighter, is it? No, that's darker. So this is the lightest I can get. The hair should not be black. Perhaps that one. Perhaps that one, I'm not sure. But this haircut should certainly be different. What are these primary and secondary colors that are not skin and hair? Oh, that's this clothing. It should be more grayish. I think he actually looks fine compared. Well, here he has some kind of pelt or whatever, and here he has a ringmail of some kind. I don't think I can change that because that's part of his equipment, so I think we'll just go with that. But we need to change his haircut. Is that this one? Oh, that's his beard. Okay, we'll wait with the beard. He's probably, obviously going to have a beard, but first we'll give him... Yeah, that's the face. Okay, let's go for the hair. We'll start at number 1. Makes it easier. Nope. This could be him. Yeah. I think I like that. And the facial hair, of course, he should have some beard. That's too much. This one looks close, though he doesn't have... It still looks too long, but it's the best bet so far. Number 3. Oh, this is not enough. There he is, I think. This looks right. I think I'm going to go with this one. He looks like him. Great. That went well without spending too much time here because that's not what I normally prefer to do. Oh, we need to have a voice. And of course it should be a male voice, and I'm really happy that they put this little label on them, so I don't have to jump around them all. I just have to think, how should he be? He is a barbarian, former slave, so he's probably going to be cocky, feisty, or sinister. Let's hear them once.
Yeah? I'll lead the way. Let's go!
I like that one.
Quickly and quietly.
What is it?
Yeah,
Now I am the leader of the group.
I'll take the sinister one. That's how I like it. And then for the character name, well, don't judge me. I go for Malagant. I have been doing that for, I don't know, 30 years. I think it's from a movie called First Night, back in the day, in the 90s. First Night with Sean Connery, based on Lancelot and all these. There's a bad guy there named Malagant. I like that name from the first time I heard it, so I pretty much always use it when I play RPGs and I play male characters. So, not that I'm gonna be a bad guy though, but I just like the name. So, I'll take it, Malagant. I actually think we're ready to go here. Let's get going. He looks fine. Spear, and is that a short sword or a dagger? It looks like a short sword, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a dagger he has up on his back here. So a spear and a short sword. This is going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to this. It looks great. New quest, the Gilded Vale. Journey to Gilded Vale. Caravan Master Odima. The Caravan Master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red mustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods towards a looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who'd be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the Caravan Master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day. There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry, about the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water.
Okay, so far I shouldn't drink the water because there's something bad in it. Instead, they will get me some water, and then I should look for these berries. And then we should clear the road so we can proceed tomorrow, and we're only one day away from this Gilded Vale. Okay.
I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
He nods in your direction. So he wants other people to look for the water. Odima looks over his shoulder at his assistant, a lanky, intense man named Spotful, who carries an old sun-bleached bow. So that's the one he talked to before. Well, I'm going to have to backtrack there when they just start talking, and there is some narration before his line, as in this case, but we'll have to go along with that. Sparfle nods and slides the one bow over his shoulder. Okay, so my turn. Well, let's just... Where would I find these berries?
They grow on a bush that's common round here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one.
Okay, what are those ruins?
Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear.
Okay, there are a lot of names, a lot of groups and stuff here, but the Glanfathans are protecting these ruins, even though they are not theirs, and they will kill us on sight, as I interpret what he says here. So look out for the Glanfathans.
Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pawn, so I hear.
He adds with a wink. Okay, I think I got some tutorial explanation over here. Your character's attributes, skills, class, race, culture, and sex may all open up options for you in dialogue. These options are not necessarily superior to the other responses, but give you a wider that shouldn't be a difficult word. Variety. Whatever, you know what it means. Variety, there it was. A wider variety of choices to select from. The manner in which someone responds to your choices depends on their individual personality and attitude. Yeah, bear over with me having difficulties pronouncing pretty straightforward, easy words sometimes. I can disable these tutorial messages. I'm not gonna. So, who did build the ruins?
Got different names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
Ingwithans. Is it dangerous out here?
Not if you hurry about your business.
Okay, I'm gonna.
And not if the weather holds up.
There's concern in his tone, but he does not elaborate. What kind of weather do they get out here?
This time of year, rain mostly, and wind. But there's a different kind of wind out here time to time. Locals call it a Beowick, born out of the ether, the spirit's path. Never seen it myself, never cared to.
Beowag. So there's some kind of huge storm? Something. He doesn't like it, so we won't like it. Beowag. Watch out for that. What are these huge rocks coming up out of the ground? That must be the ones up here in the back. I also noticed them and wondered what that was. Perhaps he can tell me?
They don't got Adra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories.
Okay. So, nobody really knows what it is. It's just there. Obviously, it has a meaning. We'll probably find out as we go.
It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days.
Okay, so you're using it for crafting even though you don't know where it came from, and it's a limited supply as it's not growing anymore, or what? Well, like oil in our world? Whatever.
The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
Yeah, I agree. I'll go see about those berries then.
Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travelers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy armor-clad woman who has spent the journey's nights sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow. So a tough lady.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
The woman looks up on her own time.
He needs to find some spring berries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
So she's a guide.
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her, you're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything.
Okay.
Off with you. Hayadin should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Beowick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
Odamus' small grin recedes beneath his mustache, and he's stern once more. So we are even going to run into the hut dwellers to avoid this Beowick. tells us a little bit about what they fear the most, even though they fear both. Well, let's end the dialogue.
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
Okay, and now a lot of things happens. We have the quest up here. We have our party down here. I can see that. Myself and this Kalisha. Wow, a lot of hit points for a level 1 character. That's obviously very different to D&D. And then we'll look into all these things next time. I'm gonna wrap this one up now as we're closing in on an hour, if we have not already exceeded it. I think we have. As I mentioned before, I will try to keep future episodes at about an hour's length, but this one was a bit longer because we had to dive into a lot of new things about characters and classes and stuff. So this is where we're going to pick up next time, and then we will continue, or actually just start the story and the adventure. I'm looking very much forward to this. It looks very great, and I've been hearing a lot about this story also. Wow, I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope you are going to join me again in episode 2.